afternoon, folks, and welcome to the Sports Podcast, the only sports podcast recorded in Los Angeles, in this apartment, at this time. As always, I'm Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us is the sports outsider, Phil Ranta.
Hey, my name's Phil. I don't know shit about sports.
Yeah. You catch any games this week, Phil?
No, I didn't.
Nope.
None. Did not do my research.
It's a sports podcast, Phil.
Yeah,
I
dropped the ball, as they say in sports lingo.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we move on to headlines?
All right.
There's a lot of news in the world of sports this week.
Oh, yeah. What do we got?
The NBA might not have a season.
Oh, darn.
Owners and players further apart, or I believe the players came in a little bit. Might want to make it 53-47.
Yeah.
And the owners want 50-50.
Yeah.
I believe even the owners, it's a bullshit 50-50 because I believe they are taking currently $1 billion off the top anyway.
Yeah.
Before it becomes 50-50.
Plus, if I've learned anything from the movie business, it's that you simply lie about how much money you're making.
Oh, yeah.
And if I learned anything from the movie 50-50, they're all going to be okay in the end.
That's great.
It's
the big story of the week. Hank Williams Jr., they're no longer playing that song at the beginning of Monday Night Football. His friends got too rowdy when he was talking about Obama and Boehner playing golf. He compared it to Hitler and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
But what does the song have to do with that?
Well, it's a great song.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is a great song.
And
Are you ready for some
But we all know Hank Williams Jr. is such a public figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he really does influence what people think. Like, if the "Are you ready for some football" guy says it, it must be an accurate assessment of the government.
Though I gotta be honest with you. I don't know that what here's the thing. I think people have gone a little too over the board. Well, first of all, people went too overboard in the use of Hitler comparisons. But now I think the reaction to the use of Hitler comparisons is over the board. All right. He was saying that Obama and Boehner was an odd golf pairing. Okay?
Right, but he could have said Felix and Oscar.
He could have.
That was
Or he
an
could
odd
have said,
couple.
like, Anne Frank in typing. She hand wrote everything.
That's not, I don't know.
See, that's not necessarily a good example, Phil, because we're right back in the whole Holocaust thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, I get confused. It's kind of like Auschwitz in Switzerland.
So that's
What?
Those
No,
I don't
those
even,
two
and
things
I
would not.
I
They
think
wouldn't
we've
go well
completely
together.
Derailed. My point being, though, Hitler and Netanyahu would also be a pretty odd golf pairing. I don't necessarily think that he was comparing Obama to Hitler specifically in any way other than trying to illustrate how different the two people
But
playing golf
so
were.
many people have compared Barack Obama to Hitler, though.
That's
like
true.
that's become a common thing. So as soon as you say,
I know.
like nobody thought that he was talking about Obama being Netanyahu and Boehner being Hitler. You know what I mean?
That's a fair point. Maybe that's what he was. Or are we certain that he
No,
wasn't?
he actually clarified after. It's one of those things where now in the media, respectable organizations at least give you an out when you fuck up that bad.
Yeah.
And they gave him an out, and he's like, no, they're the enemy, meaning Obama. But Hitler is such a loaded word. We have to know that you just can't say that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, forget that. I think we're missing the bigger story here. Can you believe that he compared John Boehner to Benjamin Netanyahu?
Yeah, what a jerk, right?
Wow. Like,
Are
that
you
is...
ready for
does-
some hyperbole?
But it got me.
He's fat.
Is he really?
Boehner is in
he?
much better shape.
I wouldn't be able to pick Netanyahu out of a lineup. I really couldn't.
I think I could. I'd go, he's the really old Jew with white hair.
Whoa, that's a
Whoa.
loaded word.
That was kind of a hard J there.
Yeah, you're kind of being a Hitler right now, there, Joe.
Brett Favre on an Atlanta radio station,
yes.
Zone, made some comments about Aaron Rodgers. Some people say they were critical of Aaron Rodgers. He said he kind of came into a good situation.
Yeah.
And he also thought what took him so long in terms of winning the Super Bowl. But I think that was more a compliment to the team.
He phrased it that way. Here's the thing. I think Brett Favre was clearly taking underhanded swipes at Aaron Rodgers, but I also think that he was masking it well enough that this should be a non-story. He phrased it in the form of a compliment. He was saying that Aaron Rodgers was so talented, it's surprising that he didn't win a Super Bowl until now.
But he didn't call him Hitler, right?
He did not compare Aaron Rodgers
Well, then what's
to
everyone
Hitler.
complaining about?
Exactly.
There's worse things to call somebody.
Yeah, or you could text pictures of your dick to sports reporters.
Yeah.
Oh, if anyone did that, they should be kicked out of the league.
The only
immediately.
person I can think of who would do something like that would be Hitler.
Right. If Hitler had a cell phone and he could take pictures and text, everybody would have a picture of his
sending his
dick.
dick all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ava Braun would get all jealous.
Uncircumcised penis.
Yeah. That's also the name of my heavy metal band, Hitler's Uncircumcised Penis.
Oh, that's death metal, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit's the best.
Oh, grindcore.
Oh, that's what I'm talking. Screamo.
Yeah.
All right. Robin Ventura.
Pet Detective.
No, this is a different.
Okay.
That was Ace
Ace
Ventura.
Ventura.
I assume
well-known
Ace
brother.
is a nickname.
This is actual breaking news for when we're recording this podcast. But Robin Ventura is now the manager of the Chicago White Sox. He has no coaching or managerial experience.
Probably can be better than Ozzie Guillen.
Well, potentially. Ozzie Guillen won a World Series,
Won a World
though.
Series, absolutely.
And was, I believe, a bench coach and third base coach for the Florida
Well,
Marlins.
funny how having 4 different starting pitchers all have simultaneous career years can really make you look pretty good.
Wait, what has he done then if he was not a manager? Like, how did he get that
I
role?
think
Is it
he
Monster.com?
Played for the White Sox once.
Okay, once? Like one game he sat in, like he was a
No.
Make-A-Wish child?
I think it was the bulk of his career he played with the White Sox.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to Ozzie Guillen, but no managerial experience whatsoever. This summer, he was calling the Little League World Series. If you tuned in to watch kids cry, like I do.
Right.
It's the best
That's
thing
the only reason
it's
to
the
watch
best
it.
thing in the world when it's a blowout. And you can see how sad the kids are.
Oh, sure.
You know, and you're stroke.
Jordan.
My aunt apparently tuned into the podcast, and I was really embarrassed that I made a Rex Ryan jerking off joke, and I was just about to make a joke about jerking off to kids crying,
Right.
and that's like really like super inappropriate. And that's like a pedophilic dumb joke that like I make a lot of those. But
Hey, Jordan's aunt, just know that for all the horrible things Jordan says on the podcast, he says much more horrible things before we start recording.
Yeah. He compared you to Hitler.
He did.
that is so not true. That is the opposite of true. That is. The owner of the Tampa Bay Rays is frustrated because there's no Rays fans.
Yeah.
It's problematic if you're the owner of a team.
Well, whose
Yeah.
fault is that? Like, it's a business. You got to
Yeah.
market. You got to do
Well,
branding.
that's the thing. Normally how you market your baseball team is by being good.
I would think so, yeah.
And
I want to
winning
watch
games.
good sports teams.
Well, the Tampa Bay Rays have been a good team for 4 years now. They've made the postseason 3 of the past 4 years. And this season, their last 2 playoff games, they couldn't even get full sellouts.
Well, what's their mascot look like?
It's a Ray.
Are the T-shirts cool? That all
really.
starts with the T-shirts.
It's not really that
and
cool.
If you
This
want
is
to
a
wear
good
the
point.
T-shirts, then you're gonna go to the
The
games. 'cause little
San
kids are gonna wanna wear
Jose
stuff.
Sharks for years. I mean, I guess the San Jose Sharks are okay now. I mean, they're perennial choke artists, but the Sharks, they had that like teal and black sort of look to them, and then all of a sudden, I remember, like living in Michigan, everyone's got Red Wing stuff. You see that one guy with like his starter jacket for the San Jose Sharks. I'm like, what? You're not.
That was
what
a
are you-
lot of teal. That was
Yeah,
a lot of
it was
teal.
a lot of teal, but it was just sort of like, why are you playing for this team? I was like, yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah,
So
It
maybe
was a
it's
shark
point.
biting a hockey stick that did look like to
It
a
did
5th
look pretty
grader.
cool. Yeah.
To the kid in the starter jacket. It did look. It was a teal jacket. Teal's a cool color in the 5th grade.
So what's our pointers for the Rays organization?
how about this? A ray biting a hockey stick.
Well, see, that's the other problem.
I think that's
They switched from the devil rays, an animal, to rays like rays from the sun.
Oh, you
no,
can't
it's
dress
still a-
somebody up in a big sun
They
ray
still
costume.
have the devil ray there, but you look at the jersey, they no longer have the pointed tail on the rays. There's that sun coming through the middle of the R.
So it's like
God,
the
that's
Raisin
terrible.
brand motto guy.
Yeah, basically, or like a vector. Is a vector involved? A ray, a vector?
Some sort of something.
geometry term.
Yeah, some sort of math.
I think the conversation that we're having right now should clearly establish that that's a terrible idea. And
Right?
A terrible mascot.
No. Why would you take an awesome animal like a devil ray and then be like, you know what sports fans like? Something a little bit more 6-year-old girlish.
Yeah.
Let's throw some glitter paint on it. Like, it makes no sense. I think that the devil ray is awesome. I would play up the devil aspect instead. Screw the ray part. You've got a devil in your name. I think that they should have someone just dressed up as like Satan with a pitchfork, and that's how you rally up the people.
It's funny you say that. There's a hockey team, the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
And for a long time, one of their better players was a guy whose last name was Satan,
Nice.
which was spelled just like Satan. So
Nice.
Yeah. But I'm in agreement. That's
Does
pretty
he
terrible.
want to be in my metal band, Hitler's Uncircumcised Penis?
Okay. We got one more story to cover.
The squirrel. The squirrel in Game 4 of the NLDS.
Which I think is the best animal running across a pitcher's line of view story.
Wait, like a real squirrel.
Like an actual squirrel.
Okay.
Ran out into the field, and it was during a pitch. Roy Oswalt, apparently, is just like the dog from Up, because he was unable to concentrate on his pitch while the squirrel came into view.
Wait, did he just stop and then just stare at it?
No, but he was in the midst of pitching, and then clearly he goes, squirrel! And he missed, and he threw a ball, and then he was arguing that they shouldn't count the pitch
really
because
wanted
there
to
was a
blame it on the
distraction.
squirrel.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And then the squirrel went into the stands. No joke.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is a
That
brave
is awesome.
squirrel.
See, I'd love to see the moment. Normally, when something goes into the stands, when somebody grabs it, like, yeah, I got it. I just like to see the one hillbilly who's just like, oh, thump, thump. Then
would've
hold
been-
it up for the crowd, like, yeah, I got the squirrel,
Like
everybody.
he catches a foul squirrel. Can I get this signed by everyone sitting on the bench? I got me a souvenir squirrel on Souvenir Squirrel Day.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting NBA season. And tonight, it's a big opening week matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the San Antonio Spurs. I'm Stan Jennings, and I'd like to introduce the recently retired power forward, Derek Jackson, and welcome him to the broadcast table.
Hey, Stan, it's great to bring some on-court expertise to an already sensational broadcast.
People who have done play-by-play for years without a partner have plenty of expertise, Derek.
I didn't mean anything by it, Stan.
I don't care. It's time for tip-off. You can hear the fans. You can feel the excitement.
As a player in these moments, you learn to harness some of the adrenaline you might be feeling on an opening night.
You say adrenaline, I say excitement. Let's call the whole thing off. Tip-off goes to the Mavs, going left to right across your radio dial. Jason Kidd with the dribble, passes to Nowitzki, and Slamma, Jamma, ding-dunk. That's 2 on the board for the Mavs.
Now, Nowitzki likes to take a lot of jump shots, but if you're going to give him the lane like that, he's going to take the easy basket.
Easy? Hardly. That, my friend, was a slam dunk. Greatest event in all of sports. Tony Parker at midcourt. Ball is stolen by Kidd, and he's on a breakaway to the net. And he goes in for a layup. 4-0 Mavs.
Not trying to get too fancy, I like it.
That's where you're wrong. People like electric plays, not uninspired layups. How about that layup? No, sir, there's no good catchphrase for those.
It's a fundamental play.
Fundamentals are for the WNBA. Parker again with the ball at midcourt, passes to Ginobili, kicks it back to Duncan, brings it to the hole, and put it down, big man. Dunk City Millionaires, 4-2 Mavs. And you can hear the crowd react, and they love it.
Fans do love it, Stan, but don't you think...
Thinking is the enemy of sports broadcasting. Look at this, Kidd and Nowinski again, and he puts it up and sinks a boring shot for 3 points. Snooze fest. Spurs call a timeout. Probably need some coffee after that lullaby of a shot.
That was from 28 feet. I mean, Dirk's versatility as a ball player is...
Ask any NBA fan, Derek, and they'll tell you they don't want versatility. They want showmanship. Dunks are the name of the game, but if there was a secondary title, it would be buzzer beaters.
While that may be true, Stan...
It is true.
Okay, while it is true, Stan, not every player has the vertical for a slam dunk.
All of the players that matter do. Spurs come out of the timeout at their own net, inbounded by Ginobili around the perimeter. Parker puts it up, bricks it, offensive rebound by the Spurs, puts up another jumper and sinks it for 2 dull points. We're knotted at 4. Dallas takes it back across midcourt. Kidd tries to answer with a jumper, airballs it, and what have we learned? Shoulda went in for the dunk.
Oh, okay, but there he couldn't get any penetration. How could he have dunked it?
Your on-court expertise is long on questions, short on answers, Derek.
They sealed off the basket unless he was trying to draw a foul. I don't see how
We're tied up and the crowd is restless. They're clawing at their seats, fingernailed, bloodied by the OCD nature of the clawing, just wanting more of those sucralose, sweet sugar, daddy slamma jammas. Are you going to tell them no, Derek?
I'm not going to tell them no. I'd like to say that you have to take what the other team gives you, and that sometimes means that you're...
Nuanced commentary. What is this, golf or another sport that doesn't have slam dunks? I'd hate to be that activity.
Despite Derek's prodding, Stan refused to leave the makeshift broadcast table he had set up in row 28 of Section 325 in American Airlines Center for 3 years, continuing his radio broadcast for nobody in particular, promoting the majesty of slam dunks. And now it's time for another Weird Sports.
Get while it getting's good, because Halloween's
Absolutely.
coming up.
Yeah, I know. Once that ends, I'm gonna have to sound out of context when I do that every week, which I will.
Yeah.
I think it's apt.
I think it's apt too.
So
and
what's
it's a nice short word.
I'm
I like
excited.
that.
What's our obscure weird sport that nobody's heard of this week?
Our weird sport for this week: ice hockey.
What?
Ice hockey.
Well, what's hockey?
Well, this one is like a sport played on ice.
You guys
It'll make sense.
Oh wow!
You guys kidding
this
me?
is
Right?
really cool. A sport on like I've never I know there's figure skating, but
Right,
on
right.
ice.
And believe it or
You guys
not, they
have
play
never-
this nationally, even in places where there's no ice.
play it internationally.
No.
Well, yeah, they play it all over the place.
You guys have never heard of ice hockey.
What?
Ice hockey,
This is one of my favorite sports.
not field hockey. This is
No,
ice.
I obviously I understand that.
Okay, let me just go through the rules and maybe you'll understand a little better,
I know
Joel.
what the rules are.
Ice hockey is a team sport played on ice in which skaters use their sticks to hit a puck into the opponent's net.
What? Well, isn't that dangerous?
Yeah, the pucks are apparently heavy. They're like little discuses.
Why would you do that?
hard
Why would you
rubber.
make it like a soccer ball? It's so much like soccer.
Right, this is a lot like soccer, except you're using a stick and then you're hitting something that's
It's a lot-
small
it's a
and
lot
flat
better
and
than
heavy.
soccer.
How does it travel on the ice?
Well, here's the thing. I'll keep going, and then this will make more sense to Joel. It's a game. It's played on ice with a curved bat. That's what the stick is. It's
bat.
like a bat with a curve at the end.
that doesn't make a lick of sense.
Right, right.
Because
But
if you're standing and you have to.
yeah, it is, well, it's played inside of a hockey rink, and when you're in the hockey rink, you're wearing ice skates, so it's like sharp blades on your feet to help you skate.
God, isn't that dangerous?
Yeah, that is dangerous. There apparently people have been cut.
Oh my! And they're still playing this.
They're still playing this. Yeah, it's a brutal sport. I saw some video of it online, and it's still played today.
You can find that online. It's not like Snuff or.
No, it's not.
it's
Not on the
not-
pay sites.
Is it like Faces of Death? Like.
Actually,
I think it could be.
a guy really did die in a game once, but
See, Joel apparently did his research for this one too, because this ice hockey
it's
game.
not recent. Ice hockey is a very popular sport. It's one of my favorite sports.
I don't know. It sounds pretty weird to me.
Yeah.
I've never heard of.
Believe it or not, they don't just play this at like World's Fairs or festivals.
I was gonna say, is this like a European thing? That
No,
I'm-
no, there is a national hockey league.
Where?
In America.
What?
Yes. There's apparently teams in America that all travel. They have arenas set up.
Travel hockey?
Yeah, they actually have some in California.
Guys, that's
There's
I've
no
been to
ice out
several
here.
games here. Yes, but I mean they have ice indoors.
You've been to this?
Yes, many times.
Wait, this hockey rink's indoors?
Yeah, it's like they just jack up the air conditioning and then the ice doesn't melt. So they have to go through, they have to set down ice, they have to smooth it out so people can skate on it and hit the pucks with their curved bats.
You know, pardon me for caring about Gaia, but is that sustainable?
I mean, it's probably it leaves a huge carbon footprint, I'm sure.
There's use Freon. It's not that bad, but it's got. I mean, guys, you have to understand that the ice hockey is incredible. It played at incredibly fast speeds. It's the perfect mixture of just total grace and abject brutality.
Right,
Well,
Joel
isn't
brings
it
up an excellent
dangerous?
point. Yeah. It's kind of like figure skating.
No,
is
it's
what
not
I was
at all
getting
like
out of
figure
No, when
skating.
I was reading this, I was thinking it's like figure skating.
Because you got the ice,
Right, you got the ice.
you got these skates.
You got it, yes. But you
that
got
is
the
it.
skates.
There are
and
no
then,
sequined outfits. There
and
are
then
no-
there's lots of like being agile and moving around.
But this is completely. You're not dancing. You're
Well, how do they
playing a
score
sport.
it? How do they score
Well,
it?
here's the thing: you take the stick, hit the puck into a net. It's got a goaltender, just like hockey. I think that they took a lot of cues from hockey to create this sport.
Soccer. You're thinking soccer, and if anything, soccer's like the big, slow, stupid version of hockey.
No, because soccer.
Well,
Soccer.
I've heard of soccer.
Right,
I know it's
soccer's
a
By
thing.
soccer, you
soccer's
mean
a thing.
Football.
Right, it's like football, except with the rubber disc, it just adds an element of. I think that it's slower because it's a big, heavy disc instead of a round ball, right?
No,
Because the
it
ball
goes-
seems
it
like
goes-
it'd move
it goes
a lot better.
A lot faster.
No, because it's a big, heavy disc, though. It's
No,
like,
but the big heavy disc, they fire at 100+ miles an hour.
well, this is the great thing too. They wear pads like all over their body. Soccer players don't. You know,
But
This
soccer
does sound
players
pretty
don't
dangerous.
get hit. In hockey, you're allowed to check the other people.
What?
right? This is what amazed
Why would you
me.
do that? That sounds terrible.
No, people hit
It's
people in
exciting.
hockey for no reason. They'll just skate up to them,
There is a
smash
reason.
them.
That's
no,
dangerous.
they just smash them.
You know, in baseball, it's usually instigated by something. Who would just who would just hit someone?
Well, that's the thing. They also would just fight.
What?
And they allow this.
Yeah, there's fighting.
They just punch each other in the face as part of the sport. So it's kind of like bare knuckle boxing meets soccer.
Well, is this like
meets figure
MMA where
skating.
like not every state it's okay to it's like it has to get certification by state?
I don't think so. I think you
Guys-
could just go and wail on somebody and you don't get arrested.
You can play hockey at any state.
Right. You can play it at any state
heard
that
it
you
all.
want. I think it might be illegal in Tennessee.
Listen, you guys, I guess, you guys about done? Because this is, again, one of my absolute favorite sports that
What?
you've never heard of ice hockey before.
Yeah, and one of my favorite sports is cow wrestling, Joel.
I love wobbly ball.
No, guys, this is a sport where, do you realize that the goaltenders did not wear any sort of facial protection
That sounds terribly
until the
dangerous.
1960s? And the first guy who started wearing a mask so that he wouldn't get hit too hard in the face by the 100-mile-per-hour rubber pucks was universally derided as being a complete pussy.
Oh,
Right.
see, this is where I've heard of it. You're talking about Jason.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
oh,
yes. He wore a hockey mask so that he
wore a
could
hockey
murder
mask,
people.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where that mask came from.
Hockey masks are designed to have blood just sort of wick off of them, so...
Right. It's smart.
Listen, guys, you're going to have
But
to...
I'm still a little confused. Once it goes in the net, how many points is that? Are there judges?
Well,
like
this
figure
is
skating?
this is
No
the
judges.
great part. No, Joel, let me finish. You get when you hit the puck into the goal with your stick, you get 1 point.
Just one.
Just one. So oftentimes, which it's kind of like soccer in this way too, you'll do a whole game where it'll be like 1-0.
Oh.
I know.
But no, it's infinitely more exciting when it's 1-0. The game is played at such an incredible rate for it
Wait,
to
are
be
you
1-0.
talking about soccer or hockey now?
Hockey.
Okay.
Ice hockey. The game moves so fast, there's all sorts of scoring chances that you don't have in hockey. I mean, in soccer. You know, like to get to the end of a game and have it be 1-0, it means you watch like all of these incredible like near misses and at any given moment in the game, you are 2.5 seconds away from somebody scoring a goal. No matter where the puck is, no matter what's happening.
Well, if that were true, how long is a game? We could do a simple division here and find out how many goals.
Well, actually,
Right,
in the
so-
playoffs, they play indefinitely. If the game ends in a tie in the postseason, you play until somebody scores, and then the team that scores first wins.
Oh, that's tough. I got to be home for dinner.
Yeah, well,
In general, I get very cranky when I'm hungry.
the
I have
longest
to be
game
home
ever.
for not boring.
No, it's fascinating. The longest game ever went into quintuple overtime.
How do you know so much about this weird sport?
It's
You
not
just
that
found
weird. A
this.
lot of people like ice hockey.
Did you read the Wikipedia entry too? Because that's how I got all
No,
this
I
information.
watched it when I was a little kid, and I still watch it now, and I've always watched it. I really like ice hockey.
I watched
Have
a
you-
lot of Looney Tunes when I was a little kid, so I understand watching weird things when you
not-
feel kind of guilty about watching
not
it
Looney
later.
Tunes. It's not
Clovis
at all like
explains
weird.
it all.
Right,
Yeah, I watched a lot of that.
I used to love Pippi Longstocking when I was little, but now I'm kind of like, oh, I'm a little embarrassed to say it out
This is
loud.
what's wrong
Doesn't
with
hold up.
America. Okay, this is what's wrong with America. Is that not enough people like ice hockey?
If that's what's wrong with America?
Yes,
I
I honestly.
sworn it
if-
was the fact that everybody's broken on fire.
Hey, you know where they like ice hockey?
Where?
In Canada, which is like America but with a functional system of government.
Canada?
Well, okay, so this
Now
this,
you're just jerking my
You're
chair.
right, I've heard of Canada.
but now
Yeah.
this kind of goes into the whole weird sport thing. So it's really big in a country, like a different
Right.
country.
Well, that's the weird
Yeah, but
thing. Is
Canada-
that,
Like toe wrestling is like big in England. We found
Right,
out.
right.
It's also huge in Sweden, Russia.
yeah, this is a
the
big
Czech
Scandinavian
Republic.
sport. But yes, actually, the National
Finland?
Hockey League of America, it's the biggest deal there, it seems. Like, the biggest game that was ever played was actually Michigan versus Michigan State in terms of attendance. 109,000 people watching this one game with two college teams. So you can understand, like, college kids, they like to watch weird things, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
like,
not- you
Yeah,
can-
like
college kids
they'll
get
watch-
high or drunk, go to the game.
Right, exactly. So
not
like,
like
oh,
YouTube.
look at those figure skaters playing soccer. Crazy.
Okay, can we? From here on out, I'm going to ask for approval over the weird sports segment, Phil.
This is my segment as the
I
sports
understand
outsider.
that it is your segment, but I mean, what we just had here is a debacle, Phil. We cannot have this again. This
Well-
is not a weird sport. This is not like toe wrestling. This is ice hockey. This is a big sport, major deal. A lot of people like it in Canada. Okay, so let's not.
Well, we'll take a vote. Go to comedypodcastnetwork.com, go to the contact page, and let me know if hockey is indeed this popular sport or if it's a weird sport.
Wow.
And this has been another weird sport.
Hasn't.
It's not. Listeners at home. I'm just baffled.
Out now, the video game you've been waiting for.
FIFA 2012 Soccer.
This isn't one of your foreign friends' video games. This is the game that
kicks balls.
You can kick the ball at the goal. You can kick the ball at your teammates. You can
Kick someone's shins.
You can dribble the ball forward. You can dribble the ball in place. You can fake injuries. You can lay down on the field and
Take a nap.
don't worry, no one will notice. And the X button does something. You can score one amazing goal.
Every 90 minutes.
And you can go into fan mode where you can learn a new exotic language. Or do the American fan mode where you care about the game.
Once every 4 years.
FIFA 2012 Soccer.
Please care about our sport.
All right, now let's wrap up the podcast with Valiant Prophecies, where we go around the horn real quick with a couple of big games this week and see if we can see the future. Monday night game, 4-0 Detroit Lions, home versus the 2-2 Chicago Bears.
Well, are you ready for some football? Let's do it, Lions.
The Fightin' Lovies.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the Lions, I think, because their coach looks like Hitler.
I am also going to go with the Lions. I think they can get it done at home. I'm not sold on Jake Cutler. Really?
No.
That's their quarterback, right?
No,
Like,
I refuse to believe.
I don't think he's that good
Yeah.
of a quarterback, it turns out. Or the Matthew Stafford. Dude's a stud. All right. Game number 2, number 3 Oklahoma versus number 11 Texas in the Red River Shootout.
Oh, in terms of a shootout, I would never go against Texas. They all have guns.
Here's the thing. I'd have to say Oklahoma's offensive system reminds me of Hitler, so I think I'm going to go with Oklahoma here.
This is getting kind of bizarre. I'm going to go with Oklahoma because I think they're the better team. I think Texas is still rebuilding a bit. Can I say that?
Yeah.
All right. And now let's take a look at the what was this called, Phil? The hockey league you were talking about?
The
National
NHL
NHL, National
League.
Hockey League.
All right. Well, we're going to do predictions for this weird sport.
That's gonna be crazy.
Okay. I think the Baton Rouge, Swamp Bugs
kill you guys.
will win the championship,
I'm going
and
to kill you
I
guys.
think West Canada will make the finals but lose.
I'm gonna say that the East North Pole Santa Clauses are definitely gonna pull it out this year.
I think the Detroit Red Wings are going to beat
Red
the
Wings?
Red Wings. Red Wings are
Red
going
Wings.
to beat the Vancouver Canucks in the Western Conference Finals. I like the Washington Capitals over the Boston Bruins in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think the Washington Capitals take the Detroit Red Wings in 6 games to win the Stanley Cup.
That was a very nuanced opinion.
Yes, thank you. It's because hockey is a real sport.
You went on the Wikipedia page.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Oh.
the Stanley Cup. That's a cute little name for an award. It's
named after Lord Stanley.
Stanley.
Stanley, that's what?
This is Stanley the trophy. Everyone say hi to Stanley Cup.
like the trophy's a mascot.
Can
That's
we
actually kind of
finish
cool.
the podcast? Can we finish, guys? Can we? Are we
I
gonna?
want to be won by you, brute man.
Do not besmirch the Stanley Cup. It's holy.
Don't besmirch the word besmirch.
All right, well let's wrap up the podcast. Where can you contact us, Joel?
Well, you can always look for us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/sports podcast. And we're also on Twitter at sports3 podcast. Sports3 podcast.
And can you email us, Phil?
You can email us at comedypodcastnetwork@gmail.com. We get all those emails.
Okay, cool. Well, this has been another edition of the Sports Podcast. Good night, everybody.
For more funny stuff for your eyes and ears, go to comedypodcastnetwork.com.